So a couple of days after I posted my last episode, it rained a lot. So much so that it pushed us back about 3 weeks. And I usually feel like weather forecasters use really ridiculous terminology trying to make weather sound more exciting than it is. They were calling this an atmospheric river. Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. It's like a river of rain that turned into a river of mud, literally. So it took about 10 days for our property to dry out. And then a lot of what had been done had to be redone. The trenching, all the rows of trenching that they dug all the dirt out were just now filled with mud. And more dirt needed to be brought in because the rain sort of compromised and destabilized dirt. So they had to bring more dirt in, compact that dirt again. It wasn't like starting over from scratch, but it did set us back. Talk about defeating. Again, I'm tired of saying this, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but that whole 2 steps forward, 1 step back, this was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And I'm not going to lie, it's getting a little annoying. So our area received about 7 inches of rain over a 3-day span, which is bad enough. But then you combine that with the fires that had happened. There's no vegetation on the hillside. So all of that rain came down and created a mudslide on our road to the house. So we were trapped for about a day. The mudslide occurred on our road, and this road is one way in and it's the same way out. So we ended up having to dig ourselves out, just enough to get the cars out. And I got to meet our neighbors who were also digging. And I saw this guy, and I was like, man, I think I know him. Then he started talking, and I was like, oh, I remember his voice. Find out he was my assistant coach for Claire's very first soccer team that I coached. However many years ago, the Pink Firehawks. I mean, small world. So last summer, the local weather forecasters forecasted for this fall, winter, and spring that it would be a La Nina. Now, for those of you who don't live in Southern California, we basically deal with a La Nina or an El Nino every year. An El Nino is when the ocean, the Pacific Ocean specifically, heats up like a degree. And it's enough to create, and again, not a scientist, steam, for lack of a better word, up into the jet stream. Then it gets pushed back towards the west coast, and it usually dumps a lot of rain on us. A La Nina is the opposite of that. That's what I was expecting. I generally like a good old El Nino because what it did, it accomplishes 2 things. One, it brings, with the rain, it usually brings a lot of snow to our local mountains, so it's good snowboarding. And it gets us out of a drought condition, which we're always in a drought condition. We are always conserving water. It's always annoying. And so it's one less thing to worry about having to conserve water when you have an El Nino. So El Nino, yay, we like El Ninos. But when you're building a house and especially preparing the foundation, an El Nino is no bueno. It really set us back. And I keep calling it an El Nino. This is not an El Nino. We're in a La Nina. So either the forecasters are terrible at their job, or we're just very unlucky, or maybe a little bit of both. But regardless, we are now, our timeline has been pushed back. Anyway, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do, right? I mean, it's mentally it's defeating, but logically it's like there's nothing we could do about it, right? Again, it's one more reminder that we are in control of literally nothing. So you just kind of go with the flow. You know, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. I'm not sure who said that. But there's good news. The range did finally stop. We had great weather after that, like even up into the 80s. This is why I put up with the ridiculousness of living in California. It's 80-degree weather in November, and I like to wear shorts. I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. So they fixed the trenching. The county made a couple of inspections, and the foundation has now been poured. Behold the splendor of poured concrete. So in my head, this is the beginning of the building process, right? And yet there have been so many beginnings, and so much has gone into up to this point that no one can see, no one can notice it except for Chris and I. And so, but there's something tangible now. There's something actually, we've broken ground, if that's the best way to put it. So it's a good feeling. There's lots that are coming up. Lots of stuff that's going to have to happen in the next couple months, in the next couple weeks. But I had this feeling of pressure on my shoulders. I don't know why. It's self-imposed, 100%. But now I feel like I can kind of breathe, right? I'm not worried about the rain coming. I can just kind of go, That doesn't last very long because there's lots of things that are coming up that could go really terribly wrong. But I feel like we've passed a milestone. That's the best word for it. And if you've watched my previous episodes, you might have detected a note of sarcasm, maybe some frustration with the county permit office. Well, from that permit office, the same office supplies the inspectors that come out to our property, because they have to make periodic inspections. So there were a couple of inspections before they even poured the concrete, which is all fine and dandy. But I will say, our contractor A has already met our inspector and was telling me, it's a crapshoot. Sometimes you get good ones, you get bad ones. He thinks we've got a good one, so that made me feel a little better. But, our builder will call the county and say, I need you to come out tomorrow and inspect. And they did twice. So that also sort of takes a weight off me mentally, that, it's not like we have to make, call for the inspection and then wait 6 days, right? No, they're really on top of it. So that's, I will give them that. Okay, keep it going, county. So I don't apologize for a word I said previously, but it's nice to know that the county is doing something right, and combine that with a builder who is supposedly building to code and following the rules. This house might actually get built. And the funny thing is that in my head, we should be farther along, because we were so far ahead in the permit process and all of that. And I have to remember, we thought we had found our contractor early on, and I'm not going to blame them, but they kind of took their time getting us the estimate, and it really got strung out longer than it should have. Then we realized we're not going to go with them, and then it felt like we were starting over. I mean, if we had gone with them, we would probably, we'd be pretty darn close to being finished, to be quite honest with you, but we'd be broke. So I'll take this any day. But I think it's like this mental game that I'm playing in my head, because my brain tells me that we've been doing this process for a long time, but there's lots of steps and lots of reasons why we are where we are. And I have to continually remind myself, it's okay. We are where we are supposed to be in the process. And I'm holding on to that. So our builder has told us that in the next couple of weeks, a lot is going to happen. And I don't know if I mentioned his name. His name is Brian. I have almost called him Bob about 100 times. It would have been so much more fun if his name was Bob the Builder, but it's not. So I hope I don't ever call him Bob because I'm going to be really embarrassed. Anyways, a lot's going on. So the framing is next, which is when they put up the 2x4s and it actually starts looking like a house. And that happens really quick, like, 10 days. After that, the trusses are brought in, and I don't know the exact order of what gets shipped first. That's not important. But the trusses are it just looked like John Travolta. No, was it John Travolta or was it Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction? When he do this, you're a square.
Come on, man, let's go get a steak.
You can get a steak here, Daddy-O. Don't be a...
The trusses for the house are arriving. Once they put the trusses in or install that, then the roofing will be put on the house. At roughly the same time, the windows will be brought in, those will be installed. And at a certain point, the house is considered to be closed, which means, I guess, the outside elements can't get in. From that point, that's when they start doing all the drywall, the flooring, the bathrooms, all the stuff, the bulk of the stuff that's going to happen for the house. That's probably 75% of it. So the new time estimate for the closing of the house is supposed to be around the first of the year. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that, a plague of locusts doesn't come in, because that's pretty much the only thing that's left to happen to us, it feels like. So as much as I don't want it to rain, if it does rain, it's only going to set us back, the amount of time that, that it actually rains, not 2 to 3 weeks. So that's good. So now that the weight is off of my shoulders, I'm not checking my weather app every hour, praying that there's no rain coming. So I'm sure there's going to be something else coming up that I have to worry about, but at least it's not the rain. But yeah, it's getting exciting. Because like I said in the last episode, I drive around and I see other houses that are being framed, and I'm kind of like, why isn't that us? But we're now there. So my next episode may not be out until after Christmas. So have a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. And hopefully the next time you're going to see a lot of actual building by Brian /Bob.